Why is there a fish tank under the ring? Never mind that I look like a character from the freaking Getaway stuck in the world of the Minions. Never mind that. Ask yourself the real questions here. The real questions of AEW Wrestledream people should be walking out of. Why was there a fish tank under the ring? I can understand many things being under the ring. Many things. Like, I can understand why there's a ladder under the ring. I can understand why there's chairs. I can understand why there's tables. You know, like you might need that stuff you find around the arena. You find tables around the arena for where they need to put stuff. You find ladders around the place where they need to set up something way up high. You find chairs because they may need to sit or like, you know, they may need extra or whatever. You find a toolbox under the ring. Yeah, that makes sense. But from the company that brought you people taking screwdrivers to the forehead and flamethrowers to the leg, why on earth does AEW have a fish tank under the ring? The plastic bag, I could understand, okay? That isn't something they pulled on the ring. That's something they brought with them. I could get that. I can understand that. I don't condone it, but I understand that there's an explanation for it. The screwdriver, I can understand. There's a logical reason for there to be a screwdriver under the ring. Or, you know, a screwdriver in the ringside area. There's a logical reason for that. A hammer in TNA. When frickin' Bubba Ray Dudley hit Jeff Hardy in the back with the hammer. I can understand where that hammer came from. The ringside guy with the bell has a hammer to ring the bell. So there's an explanation for that. But a fish tank, a damn fish tank full of water, just ready and waiting under the ring. Why? Did the crew put it there? Did Moxley put it there? Early in the, you expect me to believe that Moxley, I'm gonna come in early while they're still setting up the ring. Oh yeah, I'm gonna put a fish tank under there. I'm gonna use this later. Oh yeah. I'm gonna use this later. This is gonna come in handy. Oh yeah, fish tank. I'm gonna smother Darby Allin in this. Oh yeah. Like, what the fuck? Why? I get why you would try this. It's something that nobody's ever seen before. It's a brand new idea. Never before seen. You've never before seen someone get shoved into fucking fish tank on live TV and freaking just fucking, you've never seen it before. But goddammit, there's good reason for that. It doesn't make sense. The amount of, you realize what this means? This means Jon Moxley in his fucking infinite bloody deathmatch wisdom thought, you know what I need? You know what I need to defeat Darby Allin? I don't need a chair. No, I don't need a screwdriver. I don't need no barbed wire baseball bat. What I need is a fish tank. That's what'll get him. A fish tank. I need me a fish. This man went to the local pet store, bought himself a fish tank, filled it up with water, and then carried it all the way back to the ring, stuffed it under the ring, and said, yeah, in time. Oh yeah, this is gonna come in handy. Right when I need it the most, I'm gonna bust out the fish tank. Yeah, we're gonna wash all the fish paint off him. Yeah. The fuck is AEW doing? Otherwise, from what I heard, it was a pretty okay show. I mean, there's someone online, this one woman was like, even this one woman who's helped put together matches, from what I heard, her job is to help put together wrestling matches. Throughout her career, she's put together some great matches. So her opinion does hold a lot of water in this regard. Even she was like, what the fuck is this? You know, kids are going to try to repeat this when they see it. And you kind of have to understand when she says some stuff like that, because AEW doesn't even run those be smart, be safe, don't try this at home videos. Granted, WWE doesn't do it anymore, but I think even they've realized, hey, you know, the actual smart fans aren't going to do this. And, you know, little kids who do this, like, they're going to ignore this message anyway. But I think they do it on pay-per-view. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, they basically did it to like, hey, yo, we're going to cover our asses with this. That way you can't say we condone it when someone does something stupid. And people ignore, that has got to be, the don't try this at home thing evolved into the don't try this at home, school, or anywhere thing. And I must say, that is the most ignored warning in the history of warnings. More ignored than do not enter. More ignored than the actual label that says warning or danger. That is the most ignored warning in the history of warnings. The don't try this at home. People do this. There's video after video of people doing this on trampolines, in water parks, in swimming pools. There's people do this everywhere. So WWE had to do don't try this at home, school, or anywhere. And since TikToks are a thing and YouTube Shorts are a thing, I can say that warning to this day is the most ignored warning in the history of warnings. But AEW doesn't even have that. And they be setting people on fire. They be skewering people with fucking screwdrivers and in people with nails and what's this? What's that shit they put in Moxley's forehead and then they took it off and it like sprouted and like they stuck a bunch of chopsticks in his forehead. That's what it looked like. They got malfunctioning rings. I thought that was funny. The whole thing like, oh, the exploding deathmatch ring. 3, 2, 1. They're trying to cover it up. Be like, well, Kenny Omega can't build a bomb worth of shit. Like, what the fuck, man? Just admit it. We fucked up. Just admit that you fucked up. You know that wasn't even a good reason. Even they knew that wasn't a good explanation for this bullshit. So they're like, well, we didn't do this. By the way, we didn't build a bomb. It was Impact. Yeah, because they started working with Impact Wrestling around the time. They're like, it was Impact who built the bomb. Yeah, that's why it didn't work. Sure, AEW, that's why it didn't work. Yeah, that's why it didn't work. Got a billionaire running the company and you cheaped out on the pyro. That's why it didn't work. Because someone else, but you got a billionaire running the company, you outsourced that shit. That's why it didn't work. Okay, sure thing. That's believable. About as believable. That's more believable than the goddamn fish tank. Shit. I will give the match props though. I did think it was funny when Claudio showed up and he like lifted Darby Allin over his head and he threw his ass out the ring onto the announce desk and Darby Allin bounced and he immediately eats shit. Crashed his face first onto the ground. This dude bounced like a fucking tennis ball. Like what the? You would think he would hit the table and just go through it. No, he bounced right off the table and it hit the floor. The damn table cover bounced off with him and landed on his face. What the fuck? That was one of a few. Actually, that's like, I think, one of 2 times I've looked at Darby Allin take a bump and been like, damn, is he okay? Because he wasn't moving or doing that. Like, shit, are you okay? Not from that throw, from that piece of, table covering that landed on his face. Like, ooh, that looked like it hurt. Are you good? Like, shit. Bottom line, fuck that fish tank, man. Fuck that spot entirely. That was dumb. That was fucking stupid. That is... Lord knows what the hell that is. People are going to try to imitate that, and it's going to end badly. People do not try this shit at home. Do not try this shit anywhere. Do not be sticking people's heads in fish tanks, swimming pools, jacuzzis, or what the hell ever, okay? Don't do it. Do not replicate what you see on AEW. People in AEW don't replicate what they do on AEW, okay? They only did that flamethrower spot once. Then when he came up with the Molotov, they were like, no! Oh, shit. And that's all I got to say on that, folks. We are who we are. No point trying to argue with ourselves or anybody else about it. You have a good rest of the week. Damn, this filter's good, though. I'll give it that much. I look like the character from Darby. Not the movie, the animated movies from back in the day. I mean, damn.